What is good, everybody on YouTube? This is your boy Akil McLeod back with another video, and today I'm going live. Just wanted to connect with you guys. I know it's been a little while since I've been back on YouTube, and this week I tried to be as consistent as possible. Tried to drop some fire for you guys, and lately, like I said, it's been super busy. So today, like I told you guys earlier, I live in Arizona now, and today a lot of stores have just opened back up. So these past couple of days, your boy has been running around like crazy, just trying to make sure that I can kind of restock my shelves, because anybody that's in reselling right now, and especially if you're selling shoes, you know for a fact that shoes in particular have been selling like crazy. I don't know what it is right now, why shoes are so hot. A lot of us are, of course, in quarantine, so for people to still be buying shoes, it baffles me. But at the same time, I'm like just super thankful, feeling super blessed. So I'm definitely just gonna do a quick. It might be quick, it might be long. It depends on how active you guys are, how much questions we get. But I made an order on Poshmark, and today it came in. And like I said, I've been running around like crazy, and I went to the post office, picked up my orders, and two very surprising things happened. So I'll get into the big, like, surprising thing first. I'll get into that a little later. I'll wait until more people get into the chat. Wait until some more people can check it out live with me. But the first package was pretty good. For me, it was pretty good. What I've been doing lately, as we all know, since so many of these stores have been closed, where I like to source, mainly places like Ross, Marshalls, Burlington, the Nike outlet, the Adidas outlet, like some of my favorite places to source, they were closed. So I've been doing a lot of online arbitrage. And of course, if you don't know, online arbitrage is basically just going online, buying stuff from one site and flipping it on another. And that's really what's been holding me down over this, I guess, this stretch of time. Basically 2.5 months. Arizona has been. I guess we kind of opened up one of the first markets to open back up. So I'm really fortunate about that. So like I was saying, when it came down to the orders that we got right here, this was basically the foundation and kind of the stuff that kind of kept me in the game, so to say, for the past couple of months. Because for a while I was just kind of down, kind of feeling like I wasn't being active and not being as busy as I should have been. And just scrolling through Poshmark every once in a while just kind of kept me busy. Sometimes I might find a deal, and that was really what kept me happy. So I found some deals. I'll share a couple of the deals that I got with you guys. Let me see who's in the chat real quick. Was your Burlington's 50% off everything? Yes, my Burlington was 50% off. I grabbed a few things. It wasn't that crazy. I think I shared that in my first video. I think I dropped that on. I believe that I dropped that video on Monday. I spoke about Burlington's 50% off. I got a bunch of Fila sneakers, the Fila Grant Hills. Not the patent leather ones, but the other basketball sneakers, and some running shoes. And thankfully they sold like this. The crazy thing is, for those of you that are in markets right now where Burlington and all these other stores are closed, you just gotta expect super long lines, because people are just excited to be outside now. A lot of people are buying clothes for their kids, because as you guys know, kids are growing up so fast that they need summer clothes. So a lot of parents were in there buying up a lot of summer clothing, and people were in good spirits. People was in good moods, even though the lines, I think I spent like an hour and a half in the line. People were still in good spirits. I feel like people were just happy to be out, happy to see other people. So that was dope. Let's see. Have you purchased on Macari? I bought a couple things on Macari before, but these were both Poshmark orders that I'm going to share. How long did it take to receive your order? The best part is that both of these things, I believe I ordered them on, let's say, Saturday or Sunday, whatever. I actually don't even remember what day I ordered them, but it's Thursday today. They probably took 2 or 3 days to get here. So that was super fast. Usually sometimes I might wait 5-6 days to receive an order, but for this particular, both of these orders came same day together, and they came super fast. So shout out to the sellers, at least for dropping them off really fast. Let's see. I heard major retailers are backed up because discount sellers, Marshalls, Ross, TJ Maxx, aren't buying. Do you expect major deals? Yeah, I'm expecting major deals. There's two sides to it, because for me, I'm expecting, at least in my area, I went to Ross when they opened. I hit up 4 Rosses yesterday. I bought about 70 pairs of shoes. Not all of them was bangers. I got some Vapor Max. I got some Air Max, but a lot of them was like baseball cleats. I got some soccer cleats. stuff that might sit for a while, but a lot of the prices was crazy. The prices was like $199, $299. So for me to pick up some decent cleats, baseball cleats and stuff like that for $2 and $3 and flip it for maybe 40 or 50, I'll do that all day long. I know it might take a while, but eventually baseball season for the youth will start back up. So those will start to fly off the shelves as soon as things get going. And since I got mine for so cheap, I can, kind of pass that savings on to buyers as well and just kind of lift and kind of get rid of them quicker. So that's going to be really dope. But I'm not expecting a ton of deals in terms of extra deals coming up. Since I was the first person there, I grabbed up a lot of the stuff. I got there super early. Stores open at 10. I was in line at like 9 o'clock and I got there early and I grabbed up a bunch of stuff. What I'm expecting is that they might not restock shelves right away. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I'm not expecting them to restock shelves right away because they canceled a lot of their orders because, their stores were closed. So I don't know how long it's going to take until they get new stock, but that's just what it is right now. Leaving Cali seemed to be a great business decision. Yeah, man, absolutely. When I tell you leaving California was definitely one of my best decisions. My wife and I, we just realized that it was not only was it a good business decision, but it was a good life decision because it was just ideal for the both of us to be in a bigger city, be in a city where, we were closer to an airport. When we were in Cali, the closest airport was LAX, and that was like 2 hours away. And we travel a lot, so that was a hassle. And the cost of living was insane. And we were doing all right, but we wasn't really like living to our full potential. We wasn't stretching our money as far as I would have liked to. And if we were still in California, the business probably would have been doing terrible because I was really just doing thrift store stuff. And with the thrifts being closed, my inventory would have been pretty dry. And prior to everything closing, I had tons and tons of sneakers brand new in the box. So my inventory was really, really strong. So that's what's kind of held us over. But I feel like I'm veering off course, y'all. For those of you that are in the chat, thank you very much. I appreciate the activity. But let me get to some of the shoes because I know that's what a lot of people clicked on. My title was kind of not clickbaity, but I wanted it to kind of reel people in. So this seller in particular, they had a bundle, right? It was 3 shoes for $65. And I don't exactly know why they were doing that. They said it was just a deal on Friday, and I purchased these on Sunday. So clearly other people seeing these shoes for the 2 days that they were listed and they weren't interested. But for me, I'm very knowledgeable on these type of sneakers. So for me, I had to grab up the deal. And not only that, but for those of you that use my Poshmark link, if you're brand new to Poshmark, I receive $10 and you get $10 on your first order, right? So a decent amount of people was using my link, and I had maybe 50 or $60 in Poshmark credit. And at one point I had a lot of money in Poshmark credit because I wasn't buying, but of course, since quarantine started, I've been shopping like crazy. So these shoes are practically free for the most part. And the other ones I actually did have to spend money on, but just about free because I had a really good deal. So like I said, all 3 of these are literally tennis shoes. I know people in the Midwest say tennis shoes and they might be talking about sneakers in general, but these are actual tennis shoes. And these are the Nike Vapor 9.5 Tour in this like pink, kind of like a hot pink colorway. And like I said, all 3 of these were $65. I guess with shipping and tax, it came out to $75. So basically $25 each. And I had like $50 in store credit, in Poshmark credit. So I really spent like $30 or like 20 something dollars at the end of the day for all 3 of these. So that was a hell of a deal. That was like thrift store prices. And starting with these were in the worst condition. I'll see if I can show you guys a little close up. These were kind of dirty. And this is an easy fix, easy cleaning job. This isn't going to take long at all. This is an easy cleaning job for me right here. So I'm glad about that. These shoes here, this one shoe in particular, another easy cleaning job on the bottoms. This person probably wore these once, maybe twice. I highly doubt they play tennis in these because they're just way too fresh to be played in. Then the other shoe, this is just a pair of Nike tennis. It says Nike Zoom. I don't remember the exact name. I think these are hard courts or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Hard cage. If you do know the name, drop it in the comment section. But these shoes were really, really clean. really clean, practically brand new. I'm gonna list them. I'm probably, I don't even know if these were worn, to be honest with you guys. They probably are brand new, probably was tried on one. So I'm gonna list these brand new without box, as you guys can see. And if there's any little scuffing because of the shoes, I'm gonna just clean them up really quick. And the good thing about the three of these shoes that I have here, all three of these shoes I could at least get, at the very least, 55, maybe $70 for these. I know these, once I get these cleaned up, I'll get at least $60 for these, because I've sold this same shoe in the past, same conditions, and I made a decent amount of profit. And then save the best for last. These are the Nike Zoom Cage 2s, brand new without box as well. Really dope neon vault colorway, brand new without box, definitely never worn. And this is probably the best shoe. I'll probably get close to maybe 70 to maybe $80 for these shoes. These were really clean. So I'm really glad I was able to kind of scoop these up and get a really good deal on them. Clearly, this person was either just finished with tennis and didn't want anything to do with it, or they were a reseller themselves and just wanted to get rid of some inventory. Who knows? I know a lot of people have been messaging me and asking me to cash them out and buy some of their stuff, but some of the stuff they had just wasn't necessarily worth the money. But something like this is definitely worth it all day long. That person made a little money, and I'm gonna make some money off it too. So everybody's good. Let's see. Please take care out. This from Hope Walker. Please take care out there. Just because things are open doesn't mean they are safe. The virus isn't gone. It won't be safe for any of us until the vaccine is released. I agree. You gotta be safe. You gotta wear your gloves, wear your mask, do what you gotta do. Cali is really expensive. I hope I move too. Yeah, if you can move, if you can get out of there, please get out of there. Like, it's too expensive. For me, it wasn't worth it. Not worth it at all. Do you always buy bulk on Posh? Not necessarily. I don't always buy bulk, because everyone on Poshmark doesn't always have bulk deals. This person in particular just had 3 shoes for $65. No offers. They said the price was firm. Usually I haggle a little bit. Like, I'm that guy that'll, if it's 55, I'll send you an offer for 45. Try to just get a little money, because save a little something, because everybody knows you got to pay for shipping, you got to pay for tax. So I always try to get at least a little something. But he said no offer, so I just snagged it up before he changed his mind. So that was a really good deal. But most times on Poshmark, when I'm searching through, I like to search early. I feel like the earlier the better. That way, most people get up, they do whatever that they have to do for the day. And I got a really good deal most of the time. Most of the time, I'm getting shoes on there for maybe $40, and then selling it for $100 on eBay. So not a ton of profit, but it's just one of those things that kind of keeps the business going. Let's see. I live in California, and relying solely on online arbitrage, it can be done, but you are definitely blessed to be in a place with less cases and more opportunities for sourcing during this time. Absolutely. I'm not taking it for granted at all, because I know if I was in Cali right now, business would have been completely different. I might have pivoted, and I might have started to do something else in order to make ends meet. Because at the end of the day, like we always been saying, we're in this together. So if it wasn't, I'm just kind of sharing some of this stuff with you guys. But for the most part, if I wasn't prepared, if I didn't have such a huge backstock of inventory, I would have been stressed out. So I'm just thankful and just blessed that I was, in a good opportunity. But like Hope Walker said, just because things are open doesn't mean it's necessarily safe. You know what I mean? But you just gotta, if it's open and you feel comfortable and you're not one of the more at-risk people, do your thing. I'm not gonna necessarily go to the gym right now, because I think that's a little too far left. But I'm just doing what I got to do to provide for me and the wife. Now, the moment a lot of y'all been waiting for, these are the other shoes I ordered. Now, what I ordered was a pair of Nike Vapor Max 2019. The shoes came in this box, just like this, kind of beat up. And that's the first thing I'm gonna say. I'm not here to bash the seller, because everybody's not a reseller. Some people just try to clear out their closet, do what they got to do. If you're brand new to reselling and you have the box, at least try to double box it or put it in a bag to somewhat protect the box, because most buyers care about the box. Unless you said it was brand new without box or box isn't included, I wouldn't care, because I know the box, I'm not getting it. But if this was the pair of Vapor Max in this box, I would be very disappointed. So keep that in mind. you know, you want to protect the box, double box it if possible. Poshmark, you can ship items up to 5 pounds just using the Poshmark label. So if needed, just double box it, take care of the box. Outside of that, I hate taping up the box because I know that damages as well. So try not to do that. So jumping right into it, like I said, I ordered a pair of Vapor Max. We got a pair of Joyrides. The Joyride is one of Nike's newer models, newer designs. Really dope in my opinion. I never even touched this shoe. I seen them in the outlet, but I never was interested because I knew they wasn't selling for much. So these shoes in particular was a surprise. Not only are they my size, but they're dope, right? They're super clean, probably worn one time. But the downside is I didn't order these shoes. Joyrides don't sell for much. Joyrides have been actually sitting in outlets, sitting on shelves. Nobody really rocking with the Joyrides. In my opinion, really dope shoe, really clean, super comfortable. I had to try it on because, you know, they shipped it to me. But this isn't what I ordered. And this was probably just an honest mistake. Just it happens, especially if you're a new seller, you're not experienced. You probably sold, the person probably sold this and another shoe and slapped the label on the wrong box. That's my second tip. Just take your time with shipping. I've been doing this going on 3 years now, full time. And not to say I've never made a mistake, because I've definitely made a mistake where I didn't even put the label on the box and I just dropped it off at the post office. And thankfully the people at the post office knew it was me and they held it for me. So I got really lucky. So everybody makes mistakes. But what I'm saying is just take your time when it comes to shipping. I know on eBay you can do bulk orders and you can ship it out that way. I know on different platforms you can kind of do bulk shipping. For me, I never do that because it might throw me off. So for me, I take my time with every order. I try to make sure I'm packaging it well. And so stuff like this, I kind of limit the possibility of this happening. So of course, I just, opened the return request. I didn't say anything crazy in the request. I just said, seller shipped the wrong shoes, got to return it. These shoes are dope though. I'm gonna show you guys again. These shoes are really dope. But this is gonna have to go back. So that's just one of those things when it comes down to reselling. I know this is like my 5th or 6th time where I ordered something on Poshmark and either the item was not as described, or the item was completely wrong. It was like a switcheroo. So it happens to the best of us. I'm not going to say this is a scam. That's definitely not it. I think this was just an honest mistake. But let this mistake be a lesson for everybody. First off, don't damage the box. Don't ship stuff like this because this doesn't look presentable. And just take your time when you shipping. Even if you got just 2 orders, take your time. Make sure you package it right. Make sure you put the right weight, and just be careful. You know what I mean? Because stuff like this happens. Let's go back into the chat. Steve, about to look on Poshmark for a good deal right now. You better hop on it. As soon as I get off live, I'm about to jump back on Posh. I've been flipping Jordans, but I'm seeing more Air Max. Any thoughts on learning about other sneakers like ones you have just shown? I wouldn't have thought about grabbing those. That's the one thing for me. When it comes to selling sneakers, anytime you tell somebody you sell shoes, they instantly think you only sell Jordans, you only sell Yeezys, the hype stuff, because people are familiar with the big ticket items. I don't necessarily focus on those because the average everyday buyer is not going to be buying a pair of Yeezys or a pair of Jordan 1s for $400 and $500. That's not my typical customer. I know for me, I've always prided myself on like trying to provide affordable deals and like good deals for people. And for me, I'm making money, but they know they're getting a really good deal as well. And that's what I just like to do in terms of how I handle business. I'm not saying selling hype stuff is bad, because it's clearly lucrative, especially if you got bots and you have a connect. It's great. I don't have either. I don't have any bots. I don't have any in-store connects. So I just make it do what it do this way. But for the most part, when it comes down to it, you got to be knowledgeable on different shoes. The hype stuff is important, but stuff like this, if you can get it for say $10, $15 and then sell it for $60, I'd rather do that 5, 10, 6 times. Sometimes I might make smaller profits anywhere between 25 and $40. I might do that 50 times in a month. And for me, that's how I really make money. The big flips don't happen for me that often. So I just try to take my time and just, enjoy the process in terms of like flipping shoes. Let's see. I feel like now is the time to get back on track and stick up and stock up just in case there's a second wave. Absolutely. You got to stock up. And the thing is, not only just stock up on inventory, I feel like you just got to, we all just have to be more prepared now. You know what I mean? These type of things can happen again. It could be a second wave. Quarantine is a word that I don't think any of us would have ever thought of. So now that we know that it's possible, you kind of just have to kind of plan for the worst and kind of have other streams of income when things like this happen. I made a video. I think that video was on Monday or Tuesday where I shared my 6 streams of income. If you guys didn't catch that, I'll probably put that in the description so you guys can check that out. But what it really comes down to, you definitely don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to just depend solely on one stream of income, because if I was only depending on reselling over the past couple of months, we did all right, but it wasn't the same. And if I was solely dependent on just eBay and Poshmark, I would have been disappointed because the money would have been low. Everybody's taking a hit right now. So it's just important to kind of add some streams of income, even if it's small, even if you're doing a $50 here, $100 here, those little things add up. So you definitely want to just, kind of add some gain. Let's see. Nice. You already know. All right, Brittany Ross, would you happen to know if any thrift shops are open in Santa Barbara, which I believe you were previously? I'm in Ventura, and unfortunately nothing is open yet. I have no clue about Santa Barbara. One of my boys still lives out there, but he did tell me the Goodwill's was open. I think he said the Goodwill's was open last time we spoke. This was like 2 weeks ago. So they might be open, they might not, they might have closed, but I think the Goodwill's are open. Don't hold me to that. You might just want to do a quick Google check and check the Santa Barbara Goodwill on Carrillo and just give them a call, see if they're open. Does Poshmark accept tax exemption certificate? I'm not sure. I don't think they do. And if they did, I mean, that would be great, but I highly doubt that they do. I think if anything, that might be something you might have to do on the back end at the end of the year to kind of recoup some of the money. If you was considering doing that in terms of like tax purposes, you might want to talk with your tax professional and see if you can do something about that at the end of the year. But I'm not sure if they actually do that. Let's see. Ryan Sprouse, what's up, bro? Thanks for another show. Welcome back. Hope you've been safe. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm good. Everything is good. Like, everything is good. We still making sales. I'm healthy. I'm probably in the best shape of my life because all I was doing was just working out. Diamond's good. She's happy. Everything is good, so I can't complain. Like I said, everything is good. Can't complain. I'm just glad that I didn't take this time for granted. I think for me, at first, I went through all the stages. I went through the first stage of, I'm just going to work out at home and this is going to be great. No problem. 2 weeks later, I found myself just eating more food. I'm less active. I'm not running around to all these different stores. So I started gaining some weight. I put on like 10 pounds in like 3 weeks. And then I lost that weight, thankfully. So I went through the whole roller coaster. I went through not depression, but just like the extreme boredom and like just questioning, what am I doing? And I went through all the phases, but I'm back in good spirits. And that's why I'm able to hop on camera now and just kind of give you guys some content. Because I know for me, I wasn't in the mood to hop on camera. I wasn't in the mood to film anything. I wasn't trying to I was just, doing the motion. So I'm just glad right now that everything is back up. Brittany Roses with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. What's selling right now? So right now, as of course, shoes right now are selling like crazy. Not every shoe is selling like crazy, but I'm seeing a lot of interest in stuff like Vapor Max. I know Vapor Max are selling like crazy. Air Max are selling like crazy. Air Max, Vapor Max Plus. Those are the type of shoes I'm really like. If I get a pair in good condition, even if it's used, I'm still getting some decent money on that. Games, anything gaming related is definitely selling. I actually just put up Fight Night Round 2 for the original Xbox. That's sold in like 8 hours. Granted, it's not a ton of money. I listed it for like $9, and I had it sitting in my death pile for years at this point. I got it for free. I think I went to a garage sale and the person threw it in, and it's just been sitting there. And I said, let me list this today. Let me see if I can get a little something for it. And it sold quickly. And prior to this time where people wasn't at home playing video games like this, that game would have probably sold for $2, if that. So definitely anything gaming related. A lot of electronics are still selling. I've been selling a lot of vintage cameras, vintage electronics. Handheld video games is selling like crazy. Those are like the main things you got to look out for. But at the end of the day, if whatever you got, I mean, just put it up. Whatever it is that you might have laying around the house, put it up, because people are at home. They're kind of bored. People got their stimulus checks. A lot of people are on unemployment. And some of those people are making more money on unemployment than they're making at their job. So opportunities for reselling is huge right now. You just got to have good stuff, good quality stuff. Honestly, the only thing that I'm not seeing a huge uptick in is used clothing. And I don't have a ton of used clothing anymore because I've been trying to get away from it. But the used clothing that I do have, I'm not seeing that sell like that. I'm seeing brand new with tags, shorts, brand new with tags, clothing, like anything brand new is really selling, but the used stuff, not so much. People are probably nervous to buy used right now, honestly. Just tuning in. How have you been sourcing? How have you been sourcing since? We're not gonna say it, but how long you been sourcing? I've just been sourcing on Poshmark. That was the main reason for this video. I just wanted to share 2 of my last Poshmark orders. I've been doing a lot of buying on Poshmark and selling on eBay. I hardly ever buy on Posh and sell on Posh, only because of that 20% fee that you have to pay. So for me, it's not worth it. Any shoe over $100, you don't pay fees on eBay. You only have to pay the PayPal fee. So just to save some money, I'm buying on Posh and I'm selling on eBay. Let's see. Great insight you offer to your fans. Thank you very much. Since you do eBay as a business, which would you have, an LLC or sole proprietorship? Also, for each other stream, such as Poshmark or Discogs, for example, would you do a separate LLC or use the same? I actually have an SCorp. So for me, with having an SCorp literally just separates your business from your personal. It allows me to pay myself every month, basically draft up a paycheck to myself every month, and basically I'm not taxed as heavily, because if I was to just be a sole proprietor, all the income that I'm making from eBay would be just me, but all that money would just be on my tax statement. But since I'm a since I have an S corp, I'm able to separate the two, and it's a little more it's not going to say it's a little more pricey than to do an LLC. It has its advantages, it has its disadvantages. But for me, after doing the research, I realized that was what was best for me. And in terms of the other streams of income, you can all just do everything under whatever your S corp is. That's what I'm doing. All the other extra stuff, it's all under one umbrella. Thank you for all the content and tips you provide to newer sellers like me. Appreciate it a ton. I'm glad I could help. That's what we here for, building the community. Each one teach one. Let's see. Wait, any shoes over $100, no fees? I thought it was only for athletic shoes / hype shoes. Yeah, so it's athletic shoes, but it doesn't include boots. It doesn't include like women's high heels. It's athletic shoes, but for me, that's what I sell. So that's what I meant. Sneakers over $100, no fees. But it doesn't necessarily need to be hype. It could be just a pair of regular Air Max, $100, no fees. And that's a huge opportunity out there, especially if you're not trying to, if you're trying to save some money and you're specializing in shoes. The only platform I see that makes sense is eBay. StockX, after they started charging buyers fees, it's a no-no. And Goat is cool, but Goat fees are still more expensive than eBay. So eBay kind of just drew a line in the sand and let people know, if you're going to sell shoes, sell with us. And that's what I'm doing, and it's paying off. Do you participate in Posh parties? Honestly, I used to be in every party. I used to share my closet 3 times a day. Since quarantine happened, I don't share my closet as often anymore. I don't think I shared it today. I might have shared it today. I might not. Honestly, Poshmark sales are not as big for me anymore. A lot of my sales come from eBay. So there might be 2-3 days where I go with out sharing. And sometimes I still make a sale, sometimes I don't. But the majority of my sales are coming from eBay now. I'm hardly ever even putting brand new listings on Poshmark. And that 20% fee at the end of the day, I was always aware of it. But for me, I'm just trying to save as much money as possible. And the Poshmark fee sometimes, depending on what you're selling, is just a little too much. And for me, since I'm selling shoes and more, especially some that are more on the higher end, it just makes more sense for me to sell on eBay. Would you ever try selling through Bump? Never heard of Bump. I never heard of Bump. I don't know how that market is. I'm not sure how the sellers are on Bump. I'm one of those type of resellers where, for me, I don't like to sell on too many platforms, but I have been considering hopping on Macari because somebody from Macari sent me an email and basically they basically said, let me take this off the screen real quick. So basically what they said was that they started a program for sellers, and if you already have an eBay account, you can easily put your products from eBay to Macari with a click of a button. So when I noticed that, I definitely got interested, but I still didn't do it yet because, of course, I'm riding with eBay. eBay is still my favorite platform to sell on, so I'm just riding with eBay. But what I might end up doing is going on to Macari just to give it a test run, just to see how I like it, because Poshmark is definitely really, really slow. Drop a comment if Poshmark is slow for you, but Poshmark for me has been super slow. It's not the same. I was killing it at one point on Poshmark, and now not so much. So I might hop on Macari and give it a test and see what it's like. Only because, like I said, if I can easily cross list all my items from eBay to Macari, why not? I might go ahead and do a video on that, just to kind of document the experience and just kind of show you guys how I did it. But that's what we'll see for so. That's what we'll do. Bus Stop Hustle present. Good to have you here, my brother. Did you go to Ross? I got name brand for $1 today. Yeah, I went to Ross. The Ross in my area opened up yesterday, and I got about 60 pairs of shoes, a lot of cleats, some soccer cleats, some baseball cleats, some football cleats. A lot of them were $2.99. And I also got some Vapor Max as well. I got some Ultra Boost. I might do a video on some of them, but like I said, it's just so much shoes that, and some of them aren't necessarily going to be a huge money maker, so it might not even be worth it to share. But I did grab a lot of shoes, so that I just needed to kind of revamp the inventory. So I was glad I was able to get in there early, grab as much stuff as possible, because I don't know when they're going to restock. So I just tried to grab up as much stuff, and just before everybody else caught wind of it. I don't know if everybody else was like me and was literally counting down the days, calling Ross every day, checking Google, calling Marshalls, trying to know when they were opening. And as soon as I heard they opened, I was one of the first people out there. So I just had to go ahead and do that. Do you sell on GOAT? No, I do not sell on GOAT. I probably should have been selling on GOAT. I know a lot of the shoes I have probably sell for more on GOAT than they do on eBay. But like I said, I just ride with eBay. So that's what I've been doing. Hey, Akil, do you ship international too on eBay? If not, why? And would you consider it in the future? Thanks so much. Bless up. Yes, so I definitely do ship on eBay. I definitely do international shipping on eBay. I actually did an order today, and the buyer was actually from Canada, and they reached out to me and basically asked me what I shipped to Canada because the global shipping program was too expensive. And that's something that I'm very knowledgeable on. I know the global shipping program is more expensive for buyers, but on my end, it was just so much easier. It's literally a click of a button. It's the same process as shipping domestically. So for me, since it's so easy and convenient, I just figure if somebody that is international, for instance, somebody from Canada, if they were interested in an item, they would probably reach out. So that's what happened today. The buyer asked me if I can offer some international shipping, and that's all I did. Thankfully, the item was able to fit in a padded flat rate envelope, and going to Canada was like $25-26. So I just changed the price. I changed the listing and added that as an option, and they bought it right away. So definitely you might want to go ahead and add international shipping to some of your eBay orders. Or you might just want to stick with global shipping program. You might even want to put it in your description and say, if you're international and you're interested, send me a message. We'll work out a deal. Something like that along those lines to let people know that you're offering some other options. But for me, it worked out just fine. But outside of that, any international orders that I ship is usually going through the global shipping program. Let's see. Do you list multiple products on multiple platforms? I only sell on eBay and on Poshmark. Occasionally I might do like a Craigslist thing, or I might do like a Facebook marketplace thing, but that's very rare. So I usually only sell on 2 platforms. And at one point, everything on eBay, like at one point my stores mirrored, like everything on Poshmark was the same on eBay. I eventually started to branch off and I treated them as 2 separate entities. And some stuff I only put on Poshmark, some stuff I only put on eBay. So since then, that's basically what it is. A lot of stuff that's on eBay is not on Posh and vice versa. Let's see. What is Discogs? I have no clue what is a discog. I think it's discographies, maybe. I have no clue what a discog. If whoever asked about the discogs in the beginning, please drop a comment and let me know what a discog is. Sean is saying, I feel like Macari is like Posh. People don't want to pay. Put stuff on both eBay and Posh. With Posh, I get 10 people trying to pay $50 off asking, and on eBay, they just smash that buy now button. That's the best thing about eBay. That's why I started separating the stores. When it came down to it is that on Poshmark, you can say you're not accepting offers, but people will still send you an offer. On eBay, you can just not accept offers and you can just leave it alone. Only option is buy it now. Unfortunately, you're still going to get people that's going to send you a message and ask you, will you take less than what you're asking? And you can always, engage, or you can ignore it. For me, I usually ignore it because, it is what it is. My price is firm. But that's why I like eBay so much. I don't like the haggling. Some people enjoy it. Some people love that aspect of selling. They like the back and forth. For me, I hate it. So that's why I like eBay so much. I just set my price. And the thing is, by setting your price and leaving your price, you just need to stay on top of it, because market prices change. You might have to go back into it and lower your price. You might have to raise your price. Times like now, anything gaming related, I ended up raising my price just so I can remain competitive and not shortchange myself. But you just have to be very active and you have to monitor your sales. But with stuff like Poshmark, you're always going to get an offer. Same thing with Macari. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to try Macari. I'm going to use that. I'm going to check it out and just link everything from eBay on Macari and see if I like it. But if I don't, it is what it is. What's the software called for cross-posting Macari? Excuse me. It's not necessarily any software. I think it was the program. The person that reached out to me on behalf of Macari, they told me about the software. They told me that you can easily just transfer everything from eBay to Poshmark. And I didn't do it yet. So I'll probably do a video in the future talking more about that. But I don't know the name of the software. I just think Macari has, they're doing something. Macari has something that they're able to cross list for you. Macari is great, but you have to be careful. Any little mistakes can get you banned. Oh, wow. Definitely don't want to get banned on any platform. So thanks for the heads up. How often do you sell items to people you know? People I know, not often at all. Very, very seldomly do I ever sell things to people I know. And no particular reason. It's just when you have a global market like eBay and you have an item that many people like, you don't need to promote to your friends or anything. I just put it up on eBay. People don't know who I am. They just go ahead and buy it. So that's why I like it. Let's see. What's Macari's fees? I think Macari's fees is 10%. I might be wrong. If anybody knows Macari's fees, drop that in the comment section. But I think their fees are 10%. Did you sign up for eBay store? Is it worth it? Yes, I have an eBay store. I have not the basic store. I think it is called the basic. They have a starter store and then they have a basic store. And I have the basic store, the second tier of stores. At first, earlier this year, I was saying I was gonna rev up my inventory and move on to the, I believe it's a pro or platinum seller or platinum store. I don't remember the terminology, but I was going to increase my store. I was going to get a bigger store. Of course, since all this stuff started happening, there was no need for me to do that. And also, a lot of the shoes that I'm selling is one shoe. It's one style, but like 50 pairs. So I didn't necessarily need more listings. I just, I don't necessarily need more listings for right now. So if you're interested in eBay, I would suggest getting an eBay store only because you would save money on fees and you would actually get that shipping supplies coupon with, I think it's like $25. You get a shipping supply coupon. So they incentivize you to get an eBay store. But if you have a very, very small amount of things you're trying to sell, you don't need an eBay store. But if you have, say, anything over 100 things and you feel like you're going to do this for any length of time, you want to take it serious, get an eBay store. Can you do a beginner video on eBay and prices for newbies like me and how much inventory I should have? And should I get a website? Okay, that's a few different questions. I have a few beginner videos for eBay. So you can just check out the channel because I have a few different beginner related stuff. I just did one on shipping a few days ago as well. So I have a few beginner related stuff on there. When it comes to prices, pricing stuff for eBay is, I'm not going to say it's super easy. I basically price my stuff based on the market. So what I like to do is I would type in the item, the name of the item, and then I would go to the filters and click on sold. And from there, I'm basing my price on what other sellers got for their item. So it's really simple just doing it that way. You never want to just throw out a random number and just guess. You want to make sure that you're pricing it based on the market, because you could either price yourself out of the market and your item will never sell, or you can price yourself under the market and not get enough money. And your item might sell in a matter of seconds, but you definitely played yourself and you might have lost out on money. So you just want to do your research. Let's see. Hi, Akil. I hate it on Poshmark when someone wants to make offers and deals on the public page. Yes, that is definitely one of my pet peeves. It happens all the time. It's one of it. The reason why people do it is because other people negotiate in the comments. So it's one thing to say, send me a private message, or you can add to their bundle and you can message them. There's ways around it, but I think people are going to continue doing it as long as other sellers negotiate in the comments. Do you have a LLC, sole proprietorship, SCorp, or something different? I have an SCorp. Also, do you have a separate one for each stream? For example, one LLC for eBay and another for Poshmark. No, I just have a SCorp, and the SCorp is basically like a holding company. The SCorp is the holding company, and all the streams are under the SCorp. That just makes life easy. You might want to do your own research in terms of which one is best for you. Depending on your volume and depending on how serious you're trying to take it, you might not even need a LLC. You might not need a SCorp. You might be just fine by sticking to a sole proprietorship. But for me, since I started to just do more business, I realized that it was better to kind of protect myself, separate my personal from my business, just so that I'm not taxed severely. Because once you start making, I think it's $75,000 a year, you're in a different tax bracket. I could be wrong, but once you start making any decent amount of money, you're in a different tax bracket. So just to kind of shelter yourself a little bit and save some money in the long term, it's best to either create a LLC or a S Corp or a C Corp, whatever it might be. But you just want to do your research and see what's best for you. Let's see. Life of Monique. Thank you. My biggest thing, people on Facebook want to model the item in exchange for payment. Help. I'm not a shelter. I want to model the item. I don't know what it is with the modeling thing. I used to get those type of comments and those questions kind of often when I was on Poshmark at first, when Poshmark was new, and a lot of people would say, "Oh, could you try it on? Could you model it for me?" That was because it was, and it still is, predominantly women selling items on there, and they were either selling like their old stuff that they never wore or they're just not wearing anymore. So it was easy for them to model it because it was theirs. But for me, I was selling any and everything that I can find. So I might find a size small shirt for men or a size triple X shirt for men, and somebody might ask me to model it, but that wouldn't do the item justice. So, I mean, it happens. People are always going to ask you to model it. I don't get those questions as often, but, you know, just let them know, hey, the shirt ain't mine. It doesn't fit me. Just do a flat lay, either put it on a mannequin. That works just fine for me. I hate public communication on Posh. They point out all the flaws in shoes, then send you a low ball. But then the whole negative tactic is on display. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I got people, and you're gonna get that on every platform. You're gonna get people like that on eBay as well. The difference is that it's not a public. The messages isn't public. People are always gonna use those type of tactics. For instance, I got one message today. As a matter of fact, the person said, "Oh, I noticed some scratches on the front of the shoe." And keep in mind, my shoes are priced at $109. They said there's some scratches on the front of the shoe. Would you take 60? No. If I would have taken 60, I would have priced it at 60. So people are always going to try those little tactics. They're going to tell you things about the item like you don't see the item, but because at the end of the day, if there was scratches on the shoe, that's why it's 110 and it's not 150. You know, because of the scratches, because of the flaws. So just keep that in mind. You know, people are always going to try their little tactics, their little back and forth. It's part of the business. Not one of my favorite things, but it's normal. Let's see. A lot of people are unemployed right now, and the economy is pretty bad. What do you think will happen if people can't afford to buy things in the future? I'm worried that reselling will get harder. This is a very, very good question. I might actually keep this video for later. What I think what's going to happen with reselling is probably one of the oldest industries in the game. It's always been a thing. It'll continue to always be a thing. In my opinion, will it get harder? I think we're all going to have to adjust. I think we're all going to have to pivot on how we resell. And this is all going to unfold in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months. We're all going to realize what's going to need to change. The difference is that this situation in particular is very different because, like I said earlier, there are people on unemployment that are making more money on unemployment than they were making at their job. So with that in mind, people are spending a little more. People got stimulus checks and blew it. On April 15th, 16th, when stimulus checks first got delivered, I've seen a huge uptick in sales over the next 3 days. Huge. And I think that's just normal. You know what I mean? People get some extra money. They want to buy something. They might have always needed it. They might have always had their eye on it. So now they got some extra money. So they spend. That's what people do. They buy and they spend. Thankfully, that's habitual for people. And, you know, it kind of keeps reselling going. But I don't think reselling is actually going to go away. I think for the most part, it might get better. Amazon is doing better than ever. And, you know, for a lot of people on Amazon is majority resellers. So Amazon is doing better than ever. I'm not going to say my sales are down big, but I'm definitely not doing as well as I was doing in February and in March. But at the same time, you know, business is still growing. It's still doing well, and we're still holding strong. So I'm very optimistic. I'm super positive about the future. Some people are very negative people, and I'm just not that type of person. I just think we're going to have to adjust. We're going to have to do some pivots along the way, probably switch up some strategies here and there. And if I do have to switch up the strategies, I'm going to share that with you guys so we can all kind of pivot together and do what we got to do. But I think reselling is going to be just fine. Let's see. Chandra Ford, how do you calculate your shipping on eBay? If I have something for sale for $5, is shipping $13? Why is that? One of the shipping options you might have on there is you might have it based on the person's location. That's one way to do shipping. You can also just offer free shipping and include the cost of shipping in the item. That's what I like to do. So for me, since I'm a little more experienced, For the most part, as soon as I see an item, I either know it's going to go first class based on weight. And if it's a little larger and it might be a little heavier, I'm going to ship it with pirate ship, and I kind of know how much I'm going to spend on that platform as well. So the best way to calculate it, you might want to get a scale. You might want to invest in a scale, because knowing the exact weight of an item is going to be huge, and it's going to just help you kind of save some more money. So the best advice I would have, like I said, get a scale so you know the weight, but it's probably best to include the price of shipping in that item and just offer free shipping. That way the buyer instantly just sees whatever you're asking, and they're just going, they just buy. I noticed that really worked for me. Some people charge shipping on every single item. They hate free shipping. They don't agree with it, but it works for me. So give it a shot. How is Arizona treating you and wifey? What do you do besides this, and how do you balance being a boss? When it comes down to Arizona, I really do love it. I was saying earlier, I think with us being in Arizona, it was probably the best business decision we could have made, solely because in California, things are still shut down. When I was in California, I was a big time thrifter. That was my main way to source. And I was selling a lot of used clothing. I realized that used clothing isn't selling as fast and for as much as it used to, at least for me, at least for right now. So thankfully, since we moved, that made me pivot again and focus more on brand new items. And since we've been here, I've been selling a bunch of brand new clothing, brand new shoes, and that's what's selling. So thankfully, we just moved at the right time. So it's great. She loves it as well. In terms of balance, being a boss, I mean, it's my wife, so we do it together. Like, for instance, today I was gone all day, running around to different stores, and she was home taking the photographs of all the different stuff. And now she's out with friends, and it just works out that way. She's just able to do, she's able to do all the stuff that I can't do while I'm sourcing, and vice versa. It just works out better. It just works out great that way. And in terms of just balance, we've always been, we spend so much time together that this really didn't change much. So by her working with me now, it really didn't change much. We were already always together all the time. I think resale is cheaper than regular retail. People like to feel like they got a deal. Yeah, usually, because for instance, these shoes will probably retail for like $90, maybe 120. I would never get $90 for these. I would never get 120. So usually when it comes down to it, you always want to make sure that the buyer feels like they're getting a deal, but the goal is just to make profit. So if the buyer feels like they're getting a deal and I'm making profit, it's a win-win. Everybody's happy. But retail prices is always funny to me, because even in stores, the MSRP might be 180, but they're not asking 180 either. So it's very tricky when it comes down to MSRP prices. Let's see. We still have these companies employing people. We also had more jobs than people to fill. And then when the virus hit, so don't worry, this isn't a bad economy. This is just a bad event. We will be back. Now you're talking. I like that. Positivity, optimism. I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there with you. It's just a bad event. It's just a minor setback for a major comeback. I work at the post office. Worked over 3,000 parcels today. Amazon, USPS, FedEx, and Priority all doing well. Can't tell people are out of work. I agree. Right now, sales are, like I said, my sales have gone down a little bit compared to previous months, but it's not down to the point where I'm stressed out and I'm trying to figure out how we're going to make ends meet. I think what it really came down to, why sales for me kind of slowed down, I was literally just running out of inventory. So with that, of course, I'm going to experience slower sales. But once all these shoes and all these items get put up, I'm looking over here because it's about 100 shoes from Ross and Marshalls that I got over this past couple of days, and Nordstrom Rack. Nordstrom Rack is going to be 40% off in every area. Whenever Nordstrom Rack does open up for you guys, it's going to be 40% off. So I got crazy in there today, got as much stuff as I could, and it was a good day. Peace, Akil. Peace to you as well. My Poshmark been popping since the pandemic. Now, good for you. Good for you. My Poshmark has, I'm not even gonna say since the pandemic, before maybe February, middle of January, I started seeing slower sales. Last year, I think, was like the last solid year for Poshmark for me. Keep in mind, I don't share it as often as I used to. I don't put as many items on there as I used to, but Poshmark sales for me has dipped. Some other people also said similar things. So for you, since your sales are doing good, that's what's up. Stick with it. Whatever you're doing, keep doing that because it's working. But for me, I'm not seeing that same type of result. Been on here for about an hour. This was supposed to be a quick video, but people had some questions, so I got to answer. But I think that's all we got right now. I think that's all I got for today's video. I'm gonna hop back on here tomorrow. It might be a live, and I might drop a video tomorrow. But I'm trying to be consistent as possible for you guys. So that's all I got for today. So I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.